Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Playing with Power MTG, where we play with the most powerful cards in the most powerful formats. Tonight's game is brought to you by TCGplayer.com, where you can find all of your cards online while still supporting local game stores. Dragon Shield for all the best accessories to protect your decks, and through Patreon, where you get awesome benefits for your direct support. Also, we have a brand new playmat available on our merchandise store. Use a promo code in the description to get 10% off of this playmat for the month of September. Tonight's episode is a special No Blue episode. We polled people to see what they wanted to see from us, and the results were clear. They wanted to see how a CEDH table would look with no blue. So, we each sleeved up a deck, and you will get to see what it is like with no blue at the table. So, let's start out by showcasing our fighters this evening. First, we have Adam, piloting Kirik, son of Yawgmoth. This deck is a proactive deck, seeking to use Kirik's ability to cheat cost of spells before going for a combo win. Adam's opening hand contains a Mox Opal, Witchclaw Talisman, Necropotence, Soul Ring, Shizo, Death's Storehouse, Peat Bog, and his London Mulligan is a Blood Celebrant. Next, we have Mike, piloting the 3-color pairing of Tymna the Weaver and Ikra Shidiki, the Usurper. This deck is also a proactive deck, focusing on casting and winning with Ad Nauseam. Mike's opening hand contains a Marsh Flats, Gemstone Caverns, Swords to Plowshares, Chrome Mox, Dark Confidant, Smothering Tithe, and his London Mulligan is a Flooded Strand. After that, we have Garrett, piloting Marwyn, the Nurturer. This deck is, you guessed it, a proactive deck, seeking to leverage Marwyn's ability for storm turns and combos. Garrett's opening hand contains Llanowar Elves, Duskwatch Recruiter, Heroic Intervention, Wirewood Symbiote, Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, Forest, and a Strip Mine. Finally, we have Folger, piloting Vito, Thorn of the Duskrose. This deck is a proactive deck, looking to ramp up into big draw spells like Peer into the Abyss or Ad Nauseam before going for the combo win. Folger's opening hand contains a Cryptghast, Mishra's Bauble, Night's Whisper, and 4 Swamps. Without further ado, let's kick off this crazy Ad Nauseam elf ball drag race that this game will inevitably be. Folger wins the blindfolded gasoline taste test and gets to start us off. But Mike has a pre-game action, putting Gemstone Caverns onto the battlefield, exiling Swords to Plowshares. Folger draws a card for turn and then plays a Swamp for turn. He casts a Mox Diamond, discarding a Swamp. He casts Jet Medallion. Folger passes. Adam draws a card for turn and then plays a Peat Bog. He casts a Mox Opal and gives a turn to Mike. Mike draws a card for turn and then plays a Marsh Flats for turn. He cracks it for a Swamp. He casts Dark Confidant and passes the turn to Garrett. Garrett draws a card for turn and then plays a Forest for turn. He casts a Llanowar Elves. Garrett passes. Folger draws and then plays a Swamp for turn. He casts a Night's Whisper. He draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. He casts his commander, Vito, Thorn of the Duskrose. Folger passes. Adam draws and then plays a Shizo, Death's Storehouse for turn. He casts a Soul Ring. He taps his Peat Bog and pays 6 life to cast his commander, Kirik, son of Yawgmoth. He pays an additional 6 life and casts Necropotence through Kirik's ability. Kirik triggers and gets a 1/1 counter. He pays 14 life and activates Necropotence 14 times. He moves to his end step, puts the cards into his hand, and then discards to hand size, exiling the discarded cards. During his upkeep, Mike reveals a Krosan Wayfarer through Dark Confidant. He draws for turn and then casts a Chrome Mox, imprinting Krosan Wayfarer. He casts his commander, Tymna the Weaver. He attacks Garrett with his Dark Confidant. In his second main phase, he pays 1 life and draws a card through Tymna. Mike passes the turn. Garrett draws and then plays a Wooded Foothills for turn. He cracks it for a Forest. He casts his commander, Marwyn the Nurturer. Garrett passes. Folger draws for turn and then plays a Swamp. He casts Ad Nauseam. He reveals a Rain of Filth, Bubbling Muck, Swamp, Exquisite Blood, Mastermind's Acquisition, Grim Monolith, Dark Ritual, Dismember, Blood Pet, Arcane Signet, Mind Stone, Swamp, Bloodcast, Swamp, Diabolic Intent, Demonic Tutor, and then thinks for a second about how he really hasn't hit any fast mana yet. He decides he's either going to hit it or die trying, because he knows Adam will win on his turn if he doesn't win right now. He continues and reveals a Swamp, 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 Bloodstained Mire, Blood Tribute, Bloodhusk Ritualist, and then pauses again. He now has to either hit it or die, so he decides to keep going. He reveals a Swamp, and then a Praetor's Grasp, killing him. Then the turn moves to Adam. Adam skips his draw due to Necropotence, and then plays a City of Traitors for turn. He casts Slaughter Pact, targeting Garrett's Marwyn, triggering Kirik, getting a counter, and killing Marwyn. He attacks Garrett with Kirik. Garrett takes 4, and Adam gains 4. In his second main phase, he pays 2 life through Kirik and casts Buried Alive. He fetches up Grave Merchant of Asphodel, Gravecrawler, and Chainer, Dimension Master, into his graveyard. He pays 2 life through Kirik and casts Dance of the Dead, targeting Chainer, putting it onto the battlefield. Adam pays 6 life through Kirik, an additional 3 life to activate Chainer, bringing Grey Merchant onto the battlefield. Merchant triggers, and Mike and Garrett each lose 9 life and Adam gains 18. Adam pays 2 life through Kirik and casts Carrion Feeder. Adam demonstrates a loop of sacrificing Grey Merchant through Carrion Feeder, then using Chainer's ability to bring it back to drain the table and win the game. Okay, so that was a fast game. A quick note that Folger wanted to do an ad nause at the end step of the next turn, but the speed of Adam's deck was forcing his hand. Well, let's do another game. In this game, Adam brings back Kirik, and his opening hand contains a Karn the Great Creator, Knight of Soul's Betrayal, Vampiric Tutor, Cling to Dust, Mox Diamond, Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, and Shizo Death's Storehouse. Mike brings back Tymna and Ikra this game, and his opening hand contains a Flooded Strand, Elves of Deep Shadow, Grim Monolith, Witchclaw Talisman, Sickening Dreams, and a Wild Growth. Garrett brings back Marwyn this game, and his opening hand contains a Forest, Gaia's Cradle, Kolga the Titanate, Boreal Druid, Instill Energy, Eldritch Evolution, and a Survival of the Fittest. Folger brings back Vito this game, and his opening hand contains a Mox Opal, Everflowing Chalice, Soul Ring, Swamp, Diabolic Intent, and a Blood Tribute. Adam wins the gasoline chugging competition and gets to start us off. Adam draws a card for turn, and then plays a Shizo, Death's Storehouse. He casts a Mox Diamond, discarding Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. He passes. Mike draws a card for turn, and then plays a Flooded Strand. He cracks it for a Savannah. He casts an Elves of Deep Shadow, and passes the turn. Garrett draws a card for turn, and then plays a Forest. He casts Boreal Druid, and gives the turn to Folger. Folger draws a card for turn, and then plays a Swamp. He casts a Soul Ring. He casts an Everflowing Chalice, kicked once. He casts a Mox Opal. He then casts Dark Confidant. Folger passes. At the end of Folger's turn, Adam casts Cling to Dust, exiling Mike's Flooded Strand and drawing a card. He also casts Vampiric Tutor. He fetches up a card onto the top of his library and loses 2 life. He then moves to his turn. Adam draws and then plays a Swamp for turn. He casts a Mana Crypt. He then casts Karn, the Great Creator. He activates Karn, targeting Folger's Everflowing Chalice, making it a 0/0 creature and destroying it. Mike and Garrett mumble about the blowout happening at the table, and Adam passes the turn. Mike draws for turn, and then taps his Elves of Deep Shadow to cast Cabal Therapy, targeting Folger. He names Ad Nauseam, and Folger reveals his hand, with no Ad Nauseam in it. Mike casts Wild Growth on his Savannah, and then gives a turn to Garrett. Garrett draws, and then plays a Gaia's Cradle. He casts Quirion Ranger. He then casts his commander, Marwyn the Nurturer. Garrett passes. During his upkeep, Folger reveals a Swamp through Dark Confidant. He draws for turn, and then plays a Swamp. He taps his Soul Ring, but then is reminded he can't because of Karn. Lamenting, Folger casts Chromatic Sphere. He casts Dark Ritual, adding 3 black. He casts his commander, Vito, Thorn of the Duskrows. He attacks Karn with Dark Confidant and passes the turn. During his upkeep, Adam wins his Mana Crypt flip. He draws for turn and then plays a Swamp. He pays 6 life and casts his commander, Kirik, Son of Yawgmoth. He activates Karn, targeting Folger's Mox Opal, destroying it. Adam pays 4 life through Kirik and casts Knight of Soul's Betrayal, triggering Kirik and getting a 1/1 counter. Betrayal enters and wipes most of the board. Adam passes the turn. Mike draws for turn and then plays a Scavenger Ground. He casts a Grim Monolith. Mike passes. Garrett draws for turn and then plays a Forest. He casts Survival of the Fittest. Garrett passes. Folger draws for turn and then plays a Swamp. He casts Mind Blade Render. Folger passes. During his upkeep, Adam wins his Mana Crypt flip. He draws a card for turn and then pays 2 life and taps mana to cast Peer into the Abyss. He draws 44 cards and loses half of his life, rounded up. Adam plays a Swamp for turn. He pays 2 life through Kirik and casts Dark Ritual, adding 3 black, triggering Kirik and getting a counter. He casts a Soul Ring. He casts Helm of Awakening. He casts Mana Ball. He casts Grim Monolith. He pays 2 life through Kirik and casts Blood Pet, giving Kirik a counter. Blood Pet enters, but Adam forgot about Knight of Soul's Betrayal and it immediately dies. Adam pays 4 life and casts Dark Petition, giving Kirik a counter. He fetches up a card into his hand and gains 3 black. Adam casts Grey Merchant of Asphodel, giving Kirik a counter. Grey Merchant triggers with each opponent losing 7 life and Adam gaining 21. He casts a Sensei's Divining Top. He casts Aetherflux Reservoir. He pays 6 life through Kirik and casts Bolas's Citadel. Adam demonstrates a loop of activating top to draw a card, putting top on top, and then recasting it through Bolas's Citadel. Each time he does this, he gains more and more life through Aetherflux Reservoir. He does this until he gains enough life to be able to activate Aetherflux Reservoir, water towering each opponent for the win. Ladies and gentlemen, that was fast. When no blue is present at the table, what was demonstrated tonight was that ad nauseam strategies are currently some of the strongest and fastest in the format. Congrats to Adam on his blazing fast wins with the rest of the table completely left in the dust. The most valuable card goes to Kirik, son of Yawgmoth. Wizards knew that Phyrexian mana was a mistake, and this commander proves just how broken it really is. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Tune in next time when we bring back blue and duke it out to see who will be king of the competitive EDH table. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.